So Dean Holden has just been sacked as Bristol City manager with only 6 months in charge of the club. Let's go and talk about it. What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a shorter video, but it's going to be me talking about the recent news that's going on in Bristol City. They have just announced at 11 PM last night that Dean Holden has been relieved of his duties as Bristol City manager. And it did take me a little bit by surprise, but when I look at the run of form, it doesn't surprise me. But they are going to be alarm bells ringing at the club. If you saw the game against Reading as well, once again, very spiritless performance from Bristol City, lacked any sort of intensity and confidence going forward. Reading got the win pretty comfortable, could have really scored by more, honestly with you. And this sacking comes a couple of days after the 6-0 humiliation against Watford, where they didn't register a shot on target until the 82nd minute. And Bristol City, we associate them as a team that plays some fantastic positive football, a load of short passes, a load of possession, a load of shots on goal, averaging 8 to 10 shots per game. But recently, their shots have just been completely deteriorated. They've actually averaged only 1 shot on target in their last 3 games, which is very worrying signs actually. And this signalled the end of Dean Holden. This is what Bristol City had to say on their website. Released at 11 o'clock last night, the statement says that Dean Holden has been relieved of his duties with immediate effect. Following a 6th successive defeat, the Bristol City board have decided that a change of head coach is necessary. Assistant head coaches Paul Simpson and Keith Downing will take charge of training until further notice. The club would like to thank Dean for his service to the club over the years, and we wish him well in the future, and there'll be no further comments at this stage. So I think the best way that we can go about this now is just analyse Bristol City's season. Now, I'm not going to say they had the easiest run in terms of many teams this season, because they had a lot of setbacks, including the long-term injuries of Alfie Mawson, Jay Da Silva, and most notably Andres Weimann. He's practically not featured at all this season, which has not helped. There was also a coronavirus outbreak in the squad as well, so their training facilities has been closed for a certain amount of time. They couldn't play their game against Brentford, which had to be postponed. Of course, they actually managed to play that game quite easily, and they did lose out to Brentford in the end of it. But one point I do want to kind of show to you guys was their run of form and how it's completely deteriorated. As you've noticed here, they've managed to win their first 4 games in a row. They were pushing to be in the top 2 positions. They drew 2-2 with Barnsley, and that was like the early warning signs that Bristol City weren't going to be as dominant as they were. It was also a last-minute goal, if I remember right, with Barnsley as well. So they were ultimately denied the 3 points Bristol City. And following this, they go on a streak of 5 games without a win, which is concerning, with 3 defeats in those 5 games. Then they pick it up again with 4 games unbeaten with 3 wins in a row. Then a 3-1 defeat against Reading, where they were comprehensively beaten. It was one of the first few games I saw Bristol City getting comprehensively beaten. And then it just followed by a couple of more puzzling results, like the 1-0 away victory from Birmingham was one of the most bizarre performances I've seen with Bristol City, for the fact for how little they managed to challenge Birmingham and how easy it was for Birmingham to get the win in the end. And then what followed from there was just a really poor run of form. And one stat I can't quite believe, if the season had started in the 1st of December, Bristol City had lost 11 of their 15 games, and that is relegation form, which I think is what's the most alarming sign in terms of Dean Holden's form in this position. He did have injuries at that time, but 11 defeats in 15, that is absolutely appalling. And it practically starts from the 1st of December from their 1-0 home defeat against Birmingham. Of course, they had 3 defeats in a row. Rotherham was a poor performance. Millwall's one was a bit more unfortunate for the fact they did go down to 10 men. Then they had that 1-0 defeat against Preston as well, where I don't think they really should have lost that game. But what followed was 5 defeats in a row in the Championship and 6 straight defeats in all competitions, which is what has caused Dean Holden to be sacked. And of course, look at the very few goals that they have scored as well. Apart from Brentford, where they managed to score 2 goals and actually have a bit of fight, none against Norwich, none against Derby, none against Cardiff, none against Watford, and none against Reading. So that's another thing that's concerning as well, the lack of goals that they've been scoring as well. I said at the start that Bristol City play a very highly attacking type of football with a load of chances and a load of goals. But now all of a sudden, their goals have just completely dried up, and that's going to be really worrying for Bristol City if they cannot address this. And if you look at the next couple of fixtures, I think they definitely want to bring someone in just to make sure that they can stabilize their defense and try and get a couple of good results, because honestly, the next 4 games, not easy whatsoever. At home to Barnsley, Barnsley play like the way they did against Brentford. It'll be a tough game for Bristol City. Then Middlesbrough away, Swansea away, and then Bournemouth at home. So 2 of the top 6 and 2 challenging for top 6 that Bristol City gonna have to play next. So it's not a fantastic run of games for them. And then against the Queens Park Rangers, the fixtures from then on do start to get a little bit easier until they do have to play against Brentford near the end of the season. So maybe the board have looked at these next couple of games after the next 4 games as an opportunity for Bristol City to pick up some form again. Because I'm looking at Birmingham, that could be a winnable game. Blackburn may be tough, but you don't know with Blackburn. Then you've got Rotherham, definitely winnable. Stoke can be winnable, definitely. Coventry, yes. Nottingham Forest may be winnable. You don't know when Forest will be. Sheffield Wednesday, then Wickham, then Luton. All winnable games for Bristol City in the final 8 or so games of the season. So I don't think their playoff hopes have been completely eradicated, but it's all about finding the new manager and making sure that he can really take his team by the balls, get some confidence in front of goal, and finally rejuvenate the sort of run of form that they had in the beginning of the season, where they had 4 wins in a row. So just to reiterate on Bristol City's chances to gain in the top 6, this is what the current table looks like. Following this poor run of form, Bristol City have fallen into the bottom half of the table for the first time this season. They're joint on points with 12th place Preston, 11th place Barnsley, and as of now 10th place Blackburn as well. So I wouldn't actually say that Bristol City are in a terrible position. They are 7 points of the top 6 as of now. But if you also even look at the bottom 3, they are 11 points off the bottom 3. I know they're closer to the top 6 than they are in the bottom 3, but let's say they kept Holden with that relegation form, 11 defeats in 15, then almost immediately they would have been sucked into it. And they're playing like a team that is in relegation form right now. As I said, 1 shot on target for the past 3 games. It's absolutely obscene. They need to fix something, and I think that is why I'm slightly agreeing to Dean Holden being sacked. Obviously, he was brought in to replace Lee Johnson, and he was caretaker manager, and there were talks that Eddie Howe, Paul Cook, Chris Hughton have all been linked with a job. The overall appointment of Dean Holden wasn't very well supported by Bristol City fans. And whilst they had a fantastic start, unfortunately, and it's a bit similar with the Lampard situation with Chelsea when he eventually got sacked, he had the lack of experience to deal with a very tough situation. And that's exactly what Dean Holden managed to fail to try and behold. He couldn't get the control in the end. The final thing I'll talk about in the video, who do I think will be the next manager to replace Dean Holden at Bristol City? These are the current managerial odds for the next Bristol City job according to Sky Bet. So Paul Cook, by and large, is the favourite to replace Dean Holden as of now with 5-4 odds. Alex Neil, bizarrely, is second favourite, the current Preston manager. Eddie Howe's third. Michael Appleton is the 4th favourite. I don't know how I feel about Michael Appleton. He's doing a terrific job at Lincoln City, don't get me wrong. But I think a step up to Bristol City, it wouldn't suit his managerial career, in my opinion. He's been so used to being assistant managers. I remember when he was assistant manager for Leicester City. But now he wants to try and build his reputation by being a head manager. I think he needs to stay at Lincoln, personally. Danny Cowley is the 5th favourite. Could potentially be a good job in terms of the football and the style. I don't think he'll be an immediate quick fix. Nigel Pearson, still not too sure about him. Nigel Pearson is hit and miss. Frank Lampard's being linked. John Terry's being linked with the job. Then Mark Hughes and Paul Simpson. There's a couple of managers who I do back, and I think Paul Cook, will be the best replacement. Now, a load of fans actually has talked to a couple of Bristol City fans. They don't really want Paul Cook. But for me, I think based on the current situation right now, Paul Cook can definitely save you. I think with Paul Cook as well, we saw it with how good he set out this Wigan squad last year. Even though they had the points deduction, the football that they were playing at times was absolutely exquisite. And if Bristol City want to continue that good philosophy of football, then I think Paul Cook will be a safe option. But that is all I want to talk about today. So Bristol City fans, let me know on the current situation in the comments down below. I'm very intrigued to know more. But if you guys like this sort of video, you want to see more short discussion videos like this, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. If you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel. It would really make my day. And please share this channel as well. All that would really make my day. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care, everyone.